Bookworms, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another TBR video. Last month was my birthday month, and if you watched my TBR video for June, you would know that I ended up giving myself free reign at picking whatever I want for my June TBR, and I just have to say that worked out really well. I was really happy with the books that I ended up putting on my June TBR. I ended up getting to all of them except for one. The one book that I didn't end up getting to was The Covenant of Water. I am about 30 pages into this book, but it is about like 1,000 pages, and right off the bat, I was really enjoying the writing. It definitely had a very lyrical prose, and I noticed a lot of themes right off the bat. So this is a book that I think I want to take my time with and annotate as well, because like I said, there was just so many themes that were jumping out at me, and I really just want to take my time and really absorb and soak everything in about this book. So with it being 1,000 pages, I think I'm going to end up putting it off for now, but other than that, I did complete the rest of my June TBR, and very successful reads as well. So really happy with the books I ended up picking for my June TBR. But for the month of July, I am going to go back to using my TBR prompts. I recently redid these, and so I have a lot of new prompts in here. I also have some new books on my TBR as well, because I did get some books for my birthday. So super excited to see the mix of prompts and books that we end up getting for July's TBR. I'm really hoping for a good mix like usual. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do the first pick. A long title. Okay, I feel like I might have a couple with a long title. Let's take a look and see what we can find. So these are the 3 books that I ended up finding that had longer titles. They each have 5 words in the title, so it really is just going to be based on whatever I'm feeling more drawn to at the moment. So we have Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir, which is the second book in an Ember in the Ashes series, and I've honestly really been wanting to jump back into the series. I love the way that the first book like built up and then left off. And then we have Tress of the Emerald Sea, my beloved. This book has been on my TBR so many times, and I just have not picked it up and read it. And then we have A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. This book is one that is like highly anticipated, so I really need it to be like the right time that I pick this book up, because if this book is a disappointment to me, I'm gonna be so upset, because I've heard so many good things about it and I've been wanting to read it for so long. I believe it's like a coming of age fiction. I could be totally wrong. I'm gonna read the synopsis for this one and see if it's the right time for it. Okay, so I was correct. It is a coming of age novel, and it sounds so good. It really just sounds like it captures like the experience of a human life, and that sounds so good. I think I'm gonna end up putting these 2 off for now, because I've just been wanting to read this book for so long, and like it just sounds so good. So I think for a book with a long title, I'm gonna go with A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. All right, and then let's go ahead and do the second prompt. Been on my TBR for far too long. I feel like I have quite a few that have been on my TBR for a very long time. Right off the bat, there's a couple that are just staring me down that I have been saying I'm gonna get to, and I just have been putting them off. Okay, the 2 books that I have to choose from have probably been on my TBR the longest out of all of the books on my TBR, and that is Pachinko and The Rose Code. It would be very satisfying to finish either of these books, because they've been on my TBR for years at this point, and this is a book that I have heard nothing but good things about. I just don't know if I'm in the mood for it. I'm a little scared that it's going to be kind of slow and very full of history, and I don't know if I'm in the mood for that. And then this, I believe, is a historical fiction or a historical romance. I'm not too sure. I believe it's a romance, but I know that it's also like historical fiction tied into it. So both of these are giving very history heavy in my opinion. So I think it's just a matter of which one I want to get to first. I definitely need to get to both of these eventually because they have been on my TBR for so long at this point. And I've heard good things about both of them. But I think I'm going to go with The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. I feel like it's just going to be a little fluffier than this book. I feel like this book's going to have some heavier themes. So I feel like this one I might be able to fly through a little quicker. And I might get a little surprise romance as well. So I'm going to go with The Rose Code for a book that has been on my TBR for far too long. And hopefully I can get to this one because that would be so satisfying to get this book off of my TBR. Let's go ahead and do the third prompt. Hopefully we can get some romance or some fantasy going. Sprayed edges. Okay, I think I have a couple of sprayed edges. I definitely have a couple of new books that have sprayed edges. I have Broken Dove by Danny Francis. This is the sequel to Silver Elite. Silver Elite was a 5-star read for me, so I would love to jump into this book and see how it all plays out. But then I also have Starside by Alex Astor. This book has been all over my For You page lately and literally nothing but good things across the board. Also, the sprayed edges on this book are so cool. And I do love Alex Astor's writing, especially her fantasy writing. So maybe I could read this one. Ooh, I love a pretty map. Wait, I didn't even know that the book was actually... Oh, I love that. That is one good thing about hardcovers, I will say, is that the book usually has some like detailing like this. That map is beautiful. Also, the sprayed edges on this book are insane. So I don't know if I want to continue the Silver Elite series or if I want to start a completely new series. Like I said, I've heard so many good things about Starside. And I've been wanting to read it so bad because there's been so many raving reviews about it lately. And the sprayed edges are honestly so pretty. I'm gonna read the back and see what I think. I actually want to start this like right now. Oh my god. Is this an enemies to lovers as well? If there's enemies to lovers in this, based on what I just read, oh my gosh, this sounds so good. I like honestly want to just like pick this up right now. I can see the hype and I haven't even started it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put Starside by Alex Astor on my July TBR for sprayed edges. I did go ahead and start Broken Dove yesterday. I have the audiobook from my library, so I may honestly continue reading this one this month as well, especially with having the audiobook from my library, but I don't think I'm gonna put it on my July TBR. I think for sprayed edges, I'm gonna go with Starside, and I honestly want to start this so bad. I am so intrigued. It sounds so good, and I swear if there's enemies to lovers in this, I'm gonna eat it up. Okay, we finally got a fantasy book on the TBR. Now we need to get some romance, but honestly I don't have very many romance books on my TBR at the moment, which needs to change. So if you have any romance recommendations for me, please comment down below what they are. I do love a good mix of fiction and fantasy. I don't really care for an overly lustful or spice-driven book. I love some plot and character depth mixed in with the romance. So if you have any recommendations, please comment those below because my romance books are looking very empty at the moment and I'm not happy with that. So please comment down below any romance books that you think I would enjoy. But let's go ahead and do the fourth prompt. A 500+ page book. You know what? It's like 500 and some pages. It's like barely over 500 pages, but I'm gonna go with Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This is another book that I have seen on my For You page for years, and I finally got my hands on it. Another one that I've heard countless rave about as well. I'm gonna read the back real quick and see if it's what I actually want to pick up, but it is over 500 pages, so I think I'm gonna go with this one because I've heard so many good things about it, and I've been really like dying to get my hands on it. So let's see what the back says. That sounds good. It says, when outlaw leader meets reformed thief, a cat and mouse game of false moves ensues, bringing them intimately together in a battle that may cost them their lives and their hearts. That sounds really good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Dance of Thieves for a book that is over 500 pages. And it's also just a duology. It's not like a big series. I love a good duology, and this is a book that I've seen people like not shut up about. So super excited to see what the hype is about this book. I am super excited to like jump into this world, and I've never read a book by this author, so I'm super excited to see what her writing style is like. But like I said, I've just heard so many good things about this book, so I'm super excited to jump into this world. So I'm gonna go with Dance of Thieves for a book that is over 500 pages. It's literally like 505 pages, which I'll take it like that. It's over 500 pages, so counts. Yeah, it's 508 pages. I'm gonna do the last prompt. I'm honestly open to anything at this point. Like I said, I don't have very much romance on my TBR in general, so I can't be too upset about the fact that I don't have any romance on my July TBR so far. But let's go ahead and do the last prompt for my July TBR. I can't read it like that. Been on my TBR before. No, that's valid. That's fair. I feel like if it's been on my TBR before, I definitely need to get to it. There's definitely a couple of books on here that are just like kind of staring at me for this prompt. First, we have The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers. And then we also have Trust of the Emerald Sea. I'm honestly not going to take it out. I recently read Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved the overall like story and the way that it was told. I fell in love with the way that she wrote and like the way that she made her characters. So I think I'm going to go ahead and give The Masterpiece another chance. I don't remember when this was on my TBR, but I know that I didn't even really bother even trying to read it. So definitely one that I want to pick up. I think it also has a bit of a second chance in it as well. And again, I really want to read more of this author's books, and I have another one on my TBR. So I'm going to go with The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers for a book that has been on my TBR before. I am excited to read it. I don't know what to expect with this book. I love the way that she ties in biblical symbolism and like moments of God's will. So super excited to give this one a shot. I believe it also has a bit of a second chance redemption type of love story as well. So hopefully I end up getting to this one as well. So real quick, let's go over the 5 books that are on my TBR. First, we have A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. I picked this one for a book that has a long title. And then we have The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. This one was for a book that has been my TBR for way too long. And then Starside by Alex Astor. This one I picked for Sprayed Edges. Again, I am so tempted to just go and start this book immediately. And then we have Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson for a book that is over 500 pages. And last, we have The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers for a book that has been on my TBR before. So these are the 5 books that I ended up picking for my July TBR. I'm honestly so excited for all of these. I feel like there's going to be a couple of surprises in here, and I feel like I'm going to end up loving these books. So let me know in the comments if you've read these books before or if you have them on your TBR as well. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!